Hey guys, welcome to the channel, and here's the verse of the day. So we're going to be talking about um, Cain and Abel and sex and other stuff, I guess. So um, we'll get right to it. So Genesis chapter 4. Now Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain. So Adam had sex with his wife. That's the first mention of sex in the Bible. And Adam and Eve got down, and they had Cain. So Cain was their oldest son, and said, "I have acquired a man from the Lord." So they had their first kid. So the name Cain basically meant, "I've got him," or "here he is." It is likely Eve thought that Cain was the seed that God promised, the deliverer who would come from Eve, Genesis 3:15. There is a sense in which Eve said, "I have the man from the Lord." So a man from the Lord. Eve had faith to believe that the little baby she held would become a man. No baby had ever been born before. It is possible Adam and Eve wondered if their descendants would come forth fully mature as they did. So verse 2, then she bore again, this time his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. So agriculture and the domestication of animals were practiced among the earliest humans. Adam and his descendants did not spend tens of thousands of years living as hunter-gatherer cave dwellers. So Abel also, and in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought an offering of the fruit of the ground to the Lord. So Cain brought an offering. We can surmise that Cain brought his offering to the tree of life, because cherubim guarded the way to the tree of life, and cherubim are always associated with the dwelling place or meeting place with God. It's possible that Cain, Abel, and later others met with God at the tree of life, where the cherubim guarded access to the tree and prevented any from eating its fruit. So then Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock and of their fat, and the Lord respected Abel and his offering, but he did not respect Cain and his offering. And Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell. So, kind of like many others in the Bible, we talked about Jonah, how he got angry, with Nineveh and everything. So, Abel brought an offering of blood, and Cain brought an offering of vegetation. Many assume that this was the difference between their offerings, but grain offerings were acceptable before God, though not as an atonement for sin. So, firstborn of the flock, this shows Abel's offering was extra special. The fat of the animal was prized as its luxury. So we don't know precisely how Cain and Abel knew their sacrifices were accepted or not accepted. Seemingly there was some outward evidence making it obvious. So this was kind of a prideful moment for Cain. His pride and arrogance kind of took over, and he became angry. He couldn't bear that his brother was accepted before God and he was not. It is even possible that this was public knowledge, if God consuming the sacrifice with fire indicated acceptance. So, Cain was just angry. He was mad. So God asked him, "Why are you angry, and why has your countenance fallen?" So God dealt with Cain in terms of loving confrontation instead of automatic affirmation. God made it clear that Cain would be accepted if he did well. So if you do not do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin lies at the door, and its desire is for you, but you should rule over it. So we need to have power over our sin. We must leave that at the door and just, put that away and take control of it. We need to have control of ourselves. So God warned Cain about the destructive power of sin. Cain could resist sin and find blessing, or he could give in to sin and be devoured. And its desire is for you, but you should rule over it. So we prevent sin from ruling over us by allowing God to master us first. Without God as our master, we will be slaves to sin. So we must not become slaves to sin. We must have control over ourselves and then give it to God and let God make that change in us. So then we see here in verse 8, now Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and killed him. So Cain killed Abel. Big story twist. Everybody knows that. But Cain gave in to sin. This is one of the bases for sin in Genesis and the doctrine of sin, and it seems premeditated. So the sense is that Cain planned to catch Abel by surprise, lulling him with pleasant conversation. This shows Cain committed premeditated murder and therefore clearly ignored God's way of escape. So no human had ever died or been killed before, but Cain saw how animals were being killed for sacrifice. He extinguished Abel's life in the same way. So the first murder, another cardinal sin, and just falling into pride, arrogance, and sin. So basically, moral of the story is we need to have control of ourselves. And when we feel like hurting someone else or we feel like ruining someone else's lives, we need to gain control of that and give it to God. We need to let the Holy Spirit come over us and make newness in our lives and help us. We can't give into sin like Cain did by killing Abel. He killed his own brother. So we got to look at it in the lens of that. We can't give into sin. We got to not give into Satan. We got to trust God and follow him. It's a lot easier to follow Satan and give in to those desires, but it's a lot more rewarding to follow God and listen to him. So thank you for watching, guys, and have a blessed day. Peace.